gonna be you guys today?
Yeah, the
Unfortunately,
two of
yes.
us. Josh is here in spirit,
Yeah.
There.
in the
Oh, I
middle of
love
us.
it. I love it.
Tried to find a nice, pretty serious photo of him. So we thought, I don't know if you can really see.
Even though my printer cut off the top of his
Oh, I
head,
love it.
it's the
Yeah.
best that we're
That's
working with here.
that's perfect. That's like the best thing I think anyone has done,
Oh,
um, for like a missing band member. So
oh,
that's really great. I love that.
we're definitely all about being a team.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we
And that
are.
kind of fits to like, I feel like the Pittsburgh, just everything I've learned about the Pittsburgh scene by like having so many bands from that area on. And it's really like, it's cool for, as an outsider to see it, but like you can just feel that like the band members themselves and the actual bands are just like, it's so special.
Oh, heck
Oh,
yeah.
for
Heck
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree. We all lived together. For myself and Noah, we lived together for like a year. So I'll take you back to the beginning, Lisa.
Yeah.
Myself and Noah were in a band in like 2015, 2016-ish.
Yeah.
Very like skateboardy, very punk rocky, but very like no effects and lagwagony. Everything was fast. Tat, 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 like everything. And Noah and I were like, Alkaline Trio has some slow songs, and those are really cool. So we should probably try and like the other people in the band were like, yeah, but like you know what, we think we should stay like this. So Noah and I were like, well, we want to do slow stuff.
We wanted to
So
play some moodier songs.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, stuff that makes you kind of cry. And so we were like, hey, let's quit this band and get a house, and we can start a new band. So Noah and I did that. We got our own house together, and I was like, man, I love playing guitar. I'm bad at singing. Noah's really good at the drums. Singing on top of that would be a stretch. So we were like,
It's
F,
true.
we got to find someone who can sing and play the bass. There can only be three of us, obviously. Can't have more than that in the band. So we were like, man, we got to find a bassist that can also sing very well. And one of Noah's childhood friends was going up to school up in New York, and she was going out with a guy, and he's really good at the bass, and he can sing pretty good. And she was like, "Hey, we're moving back down to Pittsburgh, and he said he wants to be in a band, so maybe he could be in your band." And we were like, "Oh, heck yeah, Josh should totally be in the band." So he moved down to Pittsburgh here with his girlfriend, got in the band. They split up after a month or two, and he was like, "Hey, I'm from New York, and I don't know anybody in Pittsburgh. Can I crash on your couch for a week or two?" And we were like, oh, yeah, man, of course. And that turned into
6 months?
6 months on the
6 months.
couch. 6 months on the
Because
couch.
it just so happened whenever that happened, 3 weeks later, COVID happened.
Yeah.
So he was displaced anyways. And we're like, you know what? Might as well just stay with us
Live
anyways.
with us, man. Keep it
Yeah.
going. It's awesome. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, yeah, then we all lived.
Yeah.
It was super fun. And then we all lived together till like 2022-ish or something like that. Then Noah got married and moved in with his lady. Understandable.
It happens.
We were like, no, you can't live with us anymore.
You
Um,
gotta leave.
yeah. And then myself and Josh got this house, and myself and Josh have been in this house since 2022. Noah's over all the time, so it's like he lives with us still. It's nice.
Oh, that's so, yeah. So again, that kind of speaks to like how close you guys got and like what a world, like a small world, like, oh, this person wants to be in a band and then bass. And then you just also mesh well because like to live with somebody and then be in a band, like that's a whole separate, I'm not in a band, but a lot of friends of mine are. And it's like, that's a whole separate relationship, right? Like that,
Oh yeah,
then
Yeah.
it's
100%.
just like as important as like your girlfriend or wife or just friends. It's like that's a
Yeah.
whole separate thing and it's like it has to work. So that's really cool. You can tell like just by like on your Instagram and things. And then I watched like the interview of you guys. I think it was like Start the Beat and you
Oh,
guys were on
Yeah.
there and it's like you
that
could
was a
just
fun
tell
one.
like how you guys are together as a unit. It's like it's not fake. It's not like you guys like each other. So
Oh
that's
my
so
God, yeah.
important.
Yeah, that was
I mean,
awesome.
that's a
So was
we've
Josh.
already always said if we weren't in a band together, we'd still stay like three best
We
friends.
still
I mean, that's
we
just what it would be.
Yeah, we'd
I
still
mean,
still do all the same stuff. We'd play Mario Kart, go out for
Yes.
cocktails, go out to eat, make up funny ideas for TV shows and take like photos and stuff. Like we had an idea to do a family sitcom and we did like a bunch of like promo photos and stuff like that together. But yeah, we always said if there was ever a time in the band where like we truly didn't get along, we would stop being in a band. I'll still be best friends, but if like the band was causing any problems, we would just stop.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, which makes sense. And like some people don't. And that's where like
It gets a
things
little hazy.
happen. It gets a hazy, but oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Oh, so we got some lore here. That's awesome. And like kind of like how I start, like I'll do like intros, outros, all that stuff later,
Oh yeah,
and
sure.
put that in. But like the very first question I ask everybody, and I want you guys to both answer it in your own way, is how did you first fall in love with music? And it doesn't necessarily have to be like maybe an artist, but like a moment with music. However you fell in love with music and it kind of like led you on your path today.
There you go. Now you
Sure.
can start.
Okay. Well, I mean, man, I've been listening. I mean, I've been a music lover my entire life. I think it stems from my parents and the music that they showed me growing up. And I think that also helped uh, make me want to be a musician at the same time too. And that helped me on my journey to do that. Because I grew up listening to a lot of blues, like Taj Mahal and Muddy Waters and stuff like that from my dad. And then my mom gave me the Beatles influence. So I listened to a ton of the Beatles when I was a kid. And I just like it blew my mind because all of those records obviously were already out by the time, when I was a youth. And I got to listen to this musical progression and journey of a band, and it just was mind blowing. And I had a couple friends that played music too, so that made me want to play music. And I mean, that's just kind of where it stemmed from. And I mean, it's to the point now where mostly whenever I'm doing things around the house or whatever it is, I'm throwing a record on, or have some sort of music background going on, unless if I'm listening to some sort of podcast like randomly.
Hmm.
But I mean, generally, I always have music on just because that helps me focus, I guess, in
Hmm.
a way. So yeah, I think that's kind of, I would say from a very young age, that's kind of where it started for me, you
I'm
know.
very similar to that with the focusing. Like it's weird. Like it's one of those things where some people be like, "Oh, maybe it distracts you." But I'm like, "No, if I'm even doing the dishes, like I was doing the dishes before this, like I had music on." And it's one of
Yeah.
those things like I
Mhm.
need to be able to focus and maybe it's the ADHD. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is it helps me focus. So, and the Beatles, yeah, like that's another thing that I think,
Crazy.
um, when you think about how long like that music has been able to live on in each generation of us finding the Beatles in a way, it's like, yeah, that's what's so cool about music too. And like it, again, now you're on a podcast, you were on Start the Beat podcast, you're in a band and it's like all those
Yeah.
moments with music have led you there. So that's really cool. What about you, Tony?
There you go. Strong answer.
Thanks,
No.
man. Appreciate it.
My response would be kind of the same as no.
Yeah.
Just ever since I can remember being young, my mom and dad always had music playing in the house. Similar thing. If we were cleaning the house, there was music on. If we were hanging outside in the backyard, there was music on. Just always something on. Whether it's a faster song, a slower song. My parents definitely gave me a good start into a broad array of music. You know, they definitely had their favorite bands, favorite styles, but there wasn't really like one specific style we would only listen to. So it was nice to experience a bunch of different types. And then my older brother and sister were in high school in like 1996, 1997, 1998, whenever like the whole pop punk explosion was really
Hmm.
going on. And I was in like elementary school in the late 90s, so it was definitely just like, wow, like Blink-182, who are these guys? Like my brother's
Mhm.
getting into skateboarding, and it seems like, skateboarding and this type of music just kind of go hand in hand. Like I think both of these things are like really cool. So that was just kind of like the start of like, wow, like my older brother and sister like this, so like it must be cool because I think they're
Hmm.
cool. So I'm going to associate this type of music with being cool. And so after that, just like really got into like the whole skateboard pop punk. And even now, whenever people ask us like, what kind of music do you play? We normally say like skateboard music,
Hmm.
just because like in this day and age, like whenever you say pop punk, it could mean tons of different things. It could mean stuff that's like a little on the heavier side. So we always try to say like skateboard pop punk to know it's like that 1998 sound, like Enema, The State, From Here
Hmm.
to Infirmary, just like that specific style of pop punk.
And you can hear that in your music for sure, because you're right. Because
Cool.
if you say pop punk, that could mean again, like even you think like some people even consider like the Wonder Years pop punk.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I I don't know how I don't know about that. I'm not never gonna dog on anyone. I'm like, whatever you think it is fine.
Of
But
course.
like you have someone that thinks that, but then there's like the Newfound Glory or the Blink-182
Exactly.
pop punk. And it's like
Yeah.
when I hear pop punk, it's like again, it goes back to like hearing Blink, like you said, Blink-182, Newfound Glory. I mean, you could even throw in like I don't know, maybe Simple Plan back in that
Yeah, of
big,
course.
like,
100%.
but it's like, and then, even a band I recently like talked about, um, was like Knuckle Puck. And it's like, I think
Yep.
they're so different in that spectrum of pop punk where it's,
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, what would they be, and like Real Friends and how they got mature. So I think it's like,
Exactly.
it's really
Sure.
cool the different areas of pop punk because for a long time, I think it was like Crash Nebula I had on, which I love Crash Nebula. I love
Those are
those
Oh,
guys.
boys.
nice.
Those are the
Yeah.
boys.
Wonderful guys. And like I said, for a while, I was like a little bit of that pop punk hater only because I felt like it was the same stuff
Sure.
over and over again. Like I grew up on it. I love pop punk. So it's cool, like bands like yours and like Crash Nebula, and other bands out there, like When the Sun Sets, but that are back in like Illinois. And it's like,
Right.
they're bringing something a little different. Like you're bringing that older sound, but you're making it your own. So I'm like, all right, I'm
Mhm.
in. Like, okay, let's go. Like because
Awesome.
they can make
Cool.
me a
Nice.
pop punk hater, like say, okay, this is good. I like this.
Mhm.
Then we're in. And I hate to say like hater, but it's like any genre.
Oh
You
yeah,
could
no,
do
no,
like
totally
metalcore,
understand.
any of that. It gets all right. What? Give me something else.
Yeah, and it does get to a weird point whenever you're like, they're pop punk. They're not pop punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pop punk, I guess, but I don't like that type of pop punk. And like you
Yes.
said, it
Right.
can get weird if you really put like a label on different things. And so like whenever someone says like pop punk band, I'm like, nice. Unless
Yeah.
you're a very weird kind of pop punk, I'm probably gonna like your band.
There.
So yeah, so like yeah, like you were saying, like the whole like genre of pop punk can span tons of different sounds and different styles. But yeah, like I said, we normally try to say we're like skateboard music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like even like listening, like yeah, the Enema of the State or like here from here to Infirmary. Like
Yep.
I love Alkaline Trio. I'm not
Oh,
even gonna say like they're not one of my favorite bands
oh,
ever.
for
Like
sure.
I'm originally from Chicago area, so like for me, it's like I
Sweet.
have to love them. Like I don't
Heck
care.
yeah.
Like I'm always biased. Whatever they put out, I'm like it's the best thing ever. Even if like someone disagrees, I'm like it's the best thing ever because it's Alkaline Trio. I don't care.
Yeah.
Which is why I could probably never have them like. You know, not that I would ever be asked to review them, like ever. That'd be a pipe dream. But like I would give the most bias, like it's the most 10 out of 10,
I feel
great
the same.
thing
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, definitely feel the exact same. And it's funny because like I was saying, the reason whenever we started this band because Noah and I were in the previous band that
Yeah.
like they didn't have enough slow moody songs, but Noah and I were just
Mm-hmm.
like Alkaline Trio, like man, how do you not like love like Fuck You, Aurora? Like
Yeah.
oh my God, like
Mm-hmm.
damn, it's so slow and grinding and just like the lyrics hold so much weight if the song's a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like, so no, definitely, like you said, like Alkaline Trio from their first EP in like 1996 into like the new stuff they're working on now in the studio, like it may not sound all the same, but
Right.
all of it's very appreciated still.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm a little nervous about like with Travis Barker.
Travis Barker,
I'm not even
yeah,
gonna lie, I'm a little nervous only because I'm like, again, they're just so different. I respect Travis Barker. He's incredible
sure,
at what he does, but
uh-huh,
I'm just like, I don't know. I don't
dude,
know.
even
We're gonna
yeah,
He's
see.
very specific to his craft, though.
yeah,
I think
Yeah.
he is, and he
uh,
definitely has his own sound, so it'll be
hmm
interesting. But yeah,
Yeah.
who knows? I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
staying optimistic.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And again, I would still say it's a 10 out of 10, even if not.
Yeah,
But obviously, too, like a big part of, being in a band is where you're from and the scene. And I mean, we've touched on it a little bit, but like in your own words, because I've had so many different bands say something, and they're probably going to say the same thing as you guys. But for you, what is so special about Pittsburgh, to you and being a part of that scene?
sure. All right, you want me to take this one? All
Yeah,
right,
go
I'll
for
start
it.
off this one. So yeah, so as you know, Pittsburgh, in terms of being a city, is very small. It's definitely still, it's definitely a city, but it's a very small city compared to like a Chicago or a Philadelphia or
Yeah,
something like that. So almost if like you don't have as many options, you don't have as many venues, as many spaces to go to, it's almost like, all these bands are kind of trying to do the same exact thing, and we're all kind of squeezed into this one little box. You definitely can be like, we're just gonna do this by ourselves. We're not gonna reach out. We're not gonna try to become part of the team. Or the much easier and more enjoyable option is to be like, wow, look at all these other bands that are kind of in the same situation as us. why wouldn't we be like, hey man, like we're struggling to find a venue, but like we have like another band that wants to play. We know that you are in pretty tight with this venue. Could you maybe get us on a show and you can jump
Mhm.
on the bill and all three of us can just play on the same bill and you make new friends, maybe you get a new connection at a venue. But just from like meeting different people in the scene, you become friends with other bands and they have other options for venues, or maybe they're like, hey, let's record a split or something fun like that versus like, just trying to do everything by yourself. It's just not nearly as fun.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that we've had a lot of success doing that and meeting bands that way because when we started with the band that Tony was talking about that we originally were in, we were going through promoters. And a lot of the time, whenever you're going through promoters, um, they'll just throw bands together, whoever they could find to fit a bill. And, you'll have these just random bands together that don't really make any sense. So you'll have guys that, that'll play and they have their group that come out to the show, and then as soon as they're done playing they're out of there, like the whole crowd
Yeah.
leaves, and then you just end up with this empty room. Whereas whenever we started setting stuff up for ourselves and setting up these shows and meeting other bands, you have this like-minded mindset for the music and for the people, and then you meet people that are into the same things and you grow this community, and you end up with these great shows with all these people, and you get to meet a ton of,
Yeah.
a lot of people that are playing music and just are there for just being, a fan, and being a fan of the music and being a fan of the band. So I mean, I think that Pittsburgh has been great for that because it's a small city. It's grown this big community,
Hmm.
just because all the bands are out there doing the work, trying to just play shows together.
Yep.
And yeah,
Yep.
it's
Exactly.
great.
And that's the biggest thing if anyone like is watching and listening. It always bothered me like back in the day and now of shows of bands that don't stay for like the whole night. They'll play their set and they leave.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it always annoyed me as like a friend of the band's playing or just a person that would like go to them. It's like, okay, like I get it. You played, whatever, but that's also a way like for people to not like you in the scene. Like that
Oh,
like they're gonna think differently of you. Like you don't do that. Like I think it says a lot to me about those bands that do that. So that's I feel you on that where it's like it's great that you find that community and like you want to work together and also like have bands that are going to be there because that's one thing from the outside. Like any band, I'm trying to think who recently. I'm trying to even think like Old Neon was a big one that I had on here, and I know their show, they played their last show, they're no longer together, but like the amount of friends that like when they would have like a story up, I would
hmm.
see, oh wow, there was Heading North at their show. There was Josh of Good Vibe is there tonight. Like all these
Yeah.
places, like these people are going to all these shows. So speaking to like what you guys are talking about, because I see that where I don't see that for everybody that I follow and then in their scenes. I don't see that.
Right. No, no, totally agree with you 100%. And it's cool if it's even like, a Friday or a Saturday night.
Yeah.
It's like summertime. So like you want to go out and like you want to go out to eat, you want to go and grab a drink, but it's like, oh, so and so's playing a show. That's what I'm doing on Saturday night. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna be like my big night out.
Hmm.
And it's definitely fun because even like you said, the music scene here is pretty tight. So you kind of know if it's like a Friday or Saturday night. And you're going out to a show, not only are you going to see like your friends that are in the bands at the show, but like everyone's gonna just be there at the show. So you get to see and hang out with everyone, even if they're not playing on stage. So yeah, so it's definitely just a nice thing, like you said, to just see everyone at shows. And if you do have that type of like camaraderie and that whole like team feeling, there really isn't a ton of like, all right, we're the opening band, we're gonna play our set and peace out.
Hmm.
It just doesn't. I mean, obviously people have if there's something on the schedule that's understandable, stuff happens. But for the most part, if you're on the bill, you're probably gonna stay for the whole time.
Yeah. And I love that like that happens because like I said, that was always my biggest like pet peeve of like really like you're really leaving before. Like
Yep.
again, and I get it. Things do happen.
For
Life
sure.
happens. I know we're getting older too to where like,
Yeah.
hey, it's if it's 10 o'clock on a way, I get it. But
Yeah.
listen, if it's a Friday, Saturday night, we can do that. And like too,
Sure.
I guess like a really kind of something to ask too is like I know there's so many obvious things, but what can people do? I mean, we're in 2026 and I feel like it's even harder to be a band, like financially, whether it's gas when you're going to tour, even to play a show, even like just creating an EP, right? Like that
Mhm.
costs money and so many things that people don't think about. how can people really support bands in 2026? Because I think some people may hear it and think, oh, yeah, I already do that. Well, maybe there are things that like we don't think of. Like
Mhm.
what would you think is like the best way to support a band like yourselves?
Sure. I don't know. Do you want to take this one, Josh? No. I
Oh, well said. Yeah, couldn't have said it
Yeah,
better myself.
I would
there we
agree.
go.
I agree.
I mean, go to as many shows as you can, obviously, but I mean, just listen to music that's put out by the bands too.
Yeah.
Anything that's released. I mean, it's just getting ears on it because then that gets word of mouth. Somebody hears something and they say, "Hey, you know, this great band," or I heard this, Crash Nebula song, and you got to listen to this. It's great. And somebody from the outside and they listen to this and they go, "Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to tell this person about it because I know that they'd really like that too." So it kind of helps grow it in that way. Listen to music, buy a shirt if you can, stickers, anything, support whatever you can. I mean, I don't know. And, if you see a band somewhere, buy them a beer. We're big fans of that too.
That's a good, you know what? And you don't hear that often. You
Whenever,
think about when you're at a show, like that is a great way to also
yeah,
support, especially like 9 times out of 10 when you go to these shows, it's at like a bar or a
yeah,
rooftop or some
sure.
place that
Mhm.
like literally you can do that. So
Yeah.
that's a great takeaway. I love that.
No, yeah, and honestly, just to follow up on it, if you see someone having a show, even if you don't know the band, I mean, definitely go and check them out. Like, it's definitely a fun thing to to be up on stage. And sometimes not every show is as good as the next. We're not saying like every show is going to be sold out or whatever.
Right.
But even if you're not really associated with the music scene and you're just kind of curious, if you go to someone's show and there's enough people dancing around and having fun, that may be like, huh. I'm gonna go to the next show that I see, and this
Mhm.
just kind of starts like, oh, this show was really fun. I'm gonna go to the next show too. Then all of a sudden, you start meeting other people, and you start to meet people in the bands, and all of a sudden, you're a part of the music scene just because you decided that one night to go check out a show.
That's true.
So I know I feel like it's just kind of like a domino effect. Like you have fun at one show, why not go to another one? If that one's fun, gonna go to some more, and yeah, it definitely helps.
And don't be
Nice.
afraid to go it alone. Like
Yeah, yeah,
if
no,
you're
of course
not
not.
sure, that was my biggest thing. Like when I moved here to New Jersey from Chicago, it was like, okay, I don't know anybody. I only know my boyfriend. Like, what do I do? And
Mhm.
he wasn't really invested in the scene. So like for me, I'm like, all right, what do I do? And
Sure.
um, I know going alone is like scary, but like you said, like if you see like, hey, you know what? I really like that song. I'd like to go check out that band, or like
Mhm.
you meet people, and then the next show, maybe you won't be, you might go alone, but you're not alone because like everybody that you
Yeah, yeah,
probably met,
Yeah.
it's such a
exactly.
cool experience. I know it's really scary to like go by yourself
Hmm.
Yeah.
and think about that, but like once you do it, it's like you don't want to miss out on that stuff because like the special stuff that like goes on in those rooms and the community you have, especially in like a year 2026, we need community. We need that
Yeah,
stuff.
totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And even if you do go by yourself and you don't know anyone there, if you just bob your head a little bit, speaking to somebody in a local band, we'll be like, heck yes, that person's actually into the song.
Yeah.
We're
Yes.
gonna come say what's up probably after our set, be
Yeah.
like, because like like I said, not every show can be a banger. Sometimes you just get people kind of standing with their arms
I was
crossed,
just gonna
staring
say,
back
right.
at you. So if you see someone like bobbing their head, you're like, nice. I'm gonna say what's up and maybe give you like a sticker or something, because I can
Yeah.
tell you're enjoying yourself. And like, like I said, if everyone just kind of staring back at you with their arms folded, not that it's like a bad feeling, but whenever you see someone that's obviously into it, you're like, heck yes, they get it.
Yeah.
Oh man, if I was in a band, I'm like, that would be the most scary thing ever. If you're like sitting there and like we all know those guys like the
Yep.
hardcore shows that are just sitting there like, and it would be so intimidating because it's like
Get that. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, like this, I can do this all day. Okay, I'm in Zoom, whatever. But like, I'm
Sure.
not in front of like, whatever crowd and
Hmm.
someone just, and you're sitting there just playing, doing what you're doing. You love these songs, you love the music you create. And there's that person that you almost have to like that wall to like get through. Of like, all right,
Sure.
how am I
Yeah.
going to make them uncross their arms and like have a good time?
Exactly.
What am I going to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, kudos to you in any band because I could never do that. I'm like, I could never get up in front of any crowd and do that.
Yeah, I would say definitely Josh and Noah are the like music part of the band. I'm okay at the guitar. I like to speak in between the songs on the
Mhm.
mic. That's my absolute favorite part of like
But
being in
you
a
need
band.
that. You need that in a
Yeah.
band.
You do
Just
just fine, buddy. You do
doing
just
like
fine.
doing the crowd work's my absolute favorite part of being in a band. the music part's okay too.
Yeah.
But I really do like getting to talk in between the songs and do our introduction. Normally I say like my name's Tony, this is Josh, this is No, we're Find Ethel. We're three exotic dancers from Spain. But instead of, doing stuff with our bodies for you, we're gonna play instruments. And just like you can just say whatever you want, and sometimes people like it, sometimes they really don't.
I was just gonna
But
ask, yeah, what is the reception of that? Like, are there some people that are
yeah,
like, yeah, like
it's
brave to
normally pretty
laugh and
good. It's normally pretty good because at least like in the local scene, there's not a lot of like stuff in between songs like that. So I try to like tell jokes or like make stuff up if I can.
Yeah, there was one show, it was the bowling alley we played, I think, right? And you
Mhm.
asked about the mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, oh man, they did not care about us whatsoever. I was like, you obviously don't care about our band or the music, so I'm gonna like try to like talk about something everybody likes. So I was just like, hey, I'm getting kind of hungry. Can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the mozzarella sticks out there? Not even any
Just a
reaction on
very
that.
warm
And I
look
was
on
just
the
like, oh,
soul.
they don't want to talk about the sticks. They don't even want to. This is
oh,
no good. So sometimes it doesn't go great, but I'd say like at least 75% of the time people enjoy it.
Yeah.
yeah, but you do. You need that in a band. It makes it a fun experience. And two,
Yeah.
like obviously a big part of my show is that connection of how music is an aid to our mental health and helps us process our emotions. So how is like creating music giving you that place to process emotions? Maybe maybe it's when you're playing and maybe you had a day and like you go pick up the guitar or you have a show and like you're able to release whatever emotions. Like how has music provided that for you guys?
Hmm.
You want to take it?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say I mean, at least for being a drummer and going off of like having a bad day or something, there would be some days that I would go home and be like, I just need to practice. I just need to like put on music, listen, and and play, and it'll like help me just bring myself back down. Um, but it's also I don't know, I'm not much of a songwriter, but there have been times when I have gotten a pang of inspiration, and it's helped me just get my thoughts out for whatever it needs to be. And we've worked on a couple things that I've done before, and and it's just like it's that nice thing to go like, I wrote this, it's done, I can put it to the side now, and now I feel better about it and whatever that like experience was. So yeah, it can be very helpful and cathartic at the same time. Just by it just depends on how you decide to manipulate it and how you decide to use it as a tool for yourself. So
Yeah, and I love how you said like as a tool because obviously that's not the only thing, right? Like there's so many things like to help us process just life because life right now is just it's
Yeah.
hard. It's so
yeah.
hard. Like every day
It's it's
I go
interesting in 2026.
I go
Yeah.
to the grocery store and I'm like, all right, I don't even get anything fun, like fun groceries, and it's like $200. I'm like, what did I do? Like what did I like I didn't even get anything fun, Like nothing fun in
I
this
guess, I guess I'm
cart.
not gonna starve, but I didn't get
Yeah.
anything where I'm like, oh, this is a little treat for me. Like, yeah,
Exactly,
You can't
right? Like
even
it's
afford the good paper towels anymore.
yeah.
right? Like, what is this? Or like, you go out to dinner and it's like so much now, and it's sort of like life.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's like, yeah, music and that is just the tool. Because I always tell like everybody, like too, like yes, music is a big part for me too to process emotions. But like, yeah, there's a lot of tools in that toolbox. Like, because we are in 2026 and it is crazy out there right now. Like just the
Yeah.
environment right now, and just so yeah. So that's
Uh-huh.
really important to say like that it's a tool and it's not like just the be all end all fix because we still like I'm sure just playing music does not solve everything.
Yeah, I mean, there are sometimes we play shows where we're like, once the show's done, we're like, okay, glad that's done. We can now move on with our we can now move on with our evening.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a show that didn't like, we feel as like either individual members or as a group didn't go so well. But that's something that we also get to bond over at the same
This is
time
true.
and have a conversation about it and go like, ah man, like I can't believe I screwed up that fill going into that one part. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, stuff happens, and
Yeah.
just gotta have fun with your friends, and
Yeah. That's
just
what's
keep
that's
existing.
what it's all about. I think Tom from Blink said it like back when they were this like 2000, two or but definitely prior to like the first hiatus. But I don't know, he said something along the lines of like, Yeah, we're always going to be in Blink-182, and if they want to use our CDs as toilet paper, we're still going to put out CDs because we just love being in this band, even if nobody listens to them and they use them as toilet paper. And I remember being like, Tom DeLonge, that was a profound statement. I'm like, nice, man. You said it in a kind of a crass way, but like, I think I get what you're saying. Like, you just love being in this band. Well,
Hmm.
obviously, stuff changed with him and all the hiatuses and the breakups and whatever. Stay away from that, but as far as myself, Josh, and Noah, like we said, we're all three best friends. If the band would ever cause any friction between us, we would just stop being in the band. We still hang out and jam and do stuff, but like we
Right.
just wouldn't be in a band.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's important. I love that I forgot that Tom DeLonge said that because that is
Mhm.
so true. And like I think too, yeah, whether you can talk about the hiatus, but what's really cool to me is like all that stuff aside, whatever they had to work out, whatever media says this happened or that happened or interview, they're together. Like they're
Yeah,
together again. So
exactly.
whatever it was, it
Yep.
proves that like you can get through that too as a band, even if it is difficult or anything. I mean, look at Blink-182. Like they literally are all together. And whether you love it, the new music, you hate it, you don't, it's really cool. Like that was the best part for me is like, look at these
Yeah,
people
for
like
sure.
just putting everything aside and doing what they love and they love to
Exactly.
do. And they're still touring. I don't even know how old they are. I think they've got to be in the 50s. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. At least like late 40s, early 50s for
oh,
sure.
which makes me feel so old. I'm like, oh my God. I remember when they were like an Enema of the State, like,
Right.
and just oh, not Enema of the State. Oh my God. What's my age again? And like running in that
Sure.
music
Yeah.
video, like
Oh
naked.
yeah.
And it's like, now they're like dads and in their 50s
Different.
and still
It,
doing
So
this, killing
different.
it.
yeah.
I like to
Yeah.
think deep down, still the same, of course. But yeah, not quite like
No.
not
Yeah.
streaking quite as much or doing any of those things, but still Blink-182.
Listen, that's an idea for them if they're listening somehow. I doubt it. But you listen, in your 50s, recreate
Oh,
that video. Let's do it. You
That would
know what?
absolutely, yeah, that would be
heck
incredible.
yeah. Or
Yeah.
or if they just want to play the music and the three of us can just run around
Yeah,
naked, that's
right,
fine.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pass the
Hire us.
torch. Give
Yeah.
it to a new band. Yeah,
Heck
like
yeah.
and too like further talking about your music in April, you guys put out an EP,
Heck yeah.
Might Cry at the Party, which is a great title. That is like it's like the minute I saw the title, I was like, this is just, yeah. And it kind of goes along with what you're talking about, like what your band's about and what you guys are. And if anyone has seen you or just sees you on social media, it's like yeah, I can see that. But it was 2 years. Your last EP before that was 2024. So like there was 2 years in that time. So for you, what's been so special about having this new EP out for everybody?
Um, just simply because it's always one of those things. I feel like if you ask any local band what they're doing, they're like we're like trying to put out some new music. It's like constantly always just trying to put new stuff out. But everyone has, we all have lives, we all have jobs, we all have other relationships, other commitments that we have to make sure that we're paying attention to, and it can be expensive to record. It can,
Yeah.
all these things cost money. No, if you want to explain our recording situation, that's pretty nice.
Oh yeah, so we actually do all of our work with Shane from Crash Nebula, who has done our last, well, he did our single for Salem,
Mhm.
and then did My Cry at the Party. And it's pretty great. You just, we'll drive to his house, set up drums. Usually that's, a 1 day track, or we'll do tracking then, and then we just like hang out and drink high lives
It's pretty
and
sweet.
record everything else.
It's a good.
It's a good time, good camaraderie with everybody. And you'll hear actually on My Cry at the Party, there are certain parts where Jake from Crash Nebula has little inserts of things that he was saying and yelling after while we were recording stuff. So it's nice to have that. I don't know. I laugh every time I hear it. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Um,
funny.
but yeah, no, the recording process is great. Doing that with those guys.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, with this new album, I think we also kind of, I don't want to say we went in a new direction or anything like that, but I think we every time we write stuff together, we start, I don't know, we get tighter with knowing how to play off of each other. And Tony and Josh will come up with a melody and stuff like that, and then they'll show it to me, and usually it's a lot done like right in this room.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll come in, I'll listen to it, and we'll get downstairs and we'll start messing around with it. And I don't know, we get stuff done quickly. Like we get the idea for a song done relatively quickly. It just takes us a while to actually get to getting the recording done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we drag our feet a little bit on that, but I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I would say there's definitely a big difference between like being done with the song and ready to go in the studio.
yeah,
Like we're like done with the song, sweet. Okay, we like, I have my guitar stuff, the drums, the bass, Josh, and vocals, but like when are we gonna record? Yeah, I can't do it that weekend, but what about this weekend? That weekend doesn't work for me. And like I
yeah,
said, all of us like to be together.
yeah,
Whenever we're doing this stuff. It's definitely not like we go individually. Sometimes we do if that's just how it is and we need to get it done, but we all three of us do like to be together whenever we
mhm,
do anything relating to the band.
yeah,
Even if it's just a drum day for no, that means like Josh and I just get to go and hang out.
mhm,
So like definitely getting everything planned because there was, whenever we were recording the new songs, there was like a month or two where we were getting in with Shane like pretty well, and we got maybe like three out of the five songs or four out of six. I forget
that sounds about right.
how many,
Yeah.
but like recording the last two took forever just because of schedules.
Hmm.
So definitely things like that can definitely slow things down. But the overall recording process, recording with Shane from Crash, is always super fun, and it's definitely cool. Shane, he well, Crash and Everly is definitely a pop punk band. They're like a different style from pop punk than
Hmm.
we are. But Shane is like very in tune for the overall skateboard sound that we're going for.
Yeah.
So it's definitely cool to have him in there and be like, oh, like, what if you guys did this? Like instead of this part, or like play this part first, then this one. We're like, oh, Shane, that's a genius idea. Strong
Hmm.
work, man. So it's nice to be in the studio with someone versus someone that you have to pay and they're just like, all right, tell me when to press the button. Tell me when
Hmm.
to press it again to stop it. Like, don't really give, any type of like feedback or anything like that. That can be kind of, not an enjoyable situation. But recording with Shane is always great. He has sweet ideas. And it's never one of those situations where like if I'm playing something on the guitar and I'm just not getting it, like Shane's never like, all right, take 25. Come on, man. Like he's just like, all right, let's try it one more time. Let's do it. Like he's always very optimistic about things. So that's definitely always appreciated.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that because that's so important. That's another piece of the puzzle because it's like so many people talk about the people they work with and
Mhm.
how important that is for this very reason, like you're talking about. Because I think too, like that's another thing you're touching on too, is like whether it's work scheduling, financial reasons too. Like maybe some people want to work with specific people, but they can't because financially, right? And then they get stuck in a position, well, this
Yeah,
guy can do it for us. And no dig to them, but they're just not the right fit. And then you're in a
exactly.
situation where you're like, well, we got to get this done, but they don't understand what we're trying to do. So that's really
Mhm.
cool. You had someone like Shane to do that. Like, not
Yeah,
only a member of like your community and everything, but like he just gets you and could get
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
And be positive because like I can only imagine, like, even me doing this, like, if I get stuck and I'm like trying to like fix audio or do something and I'm just like, man, like I can't like do this or I can't figure this out, what's going on.
Sure.
It would be so great to have like somebody like there, like, all right, you got
Always in a
this.
positive mood. Like,
You know,
Yeah.
like
I'm here for
have that.
reinforcement. I support you. You can
Yeah.
do it. Like, yeah, no, it's a great
Yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need that. And like, too, like how do you deal with the financial, like the stress of that, right? Because you want to put out an EP, you want to put out music, but again, like we're talking about in just life in general, it's so expensive just to survive these days. How do you balance that though to make sure like you can maintain your passion and what you're passionate about, despite like the hurdle of like a financial situation?
Sure. So whenever we first started playing shows, because like the previous band we were in, we definitely played shows and stuff, but we were kind of like figuring out how to like be a band. So whenever we got going in this one, and we started to like not like make money off shows, but like get like a chunk of change for a show. I remember being like, oh man, that's gonna be so many gin and tonics. This is gonna be awesome. And then like the three of us were like, no, wait. What if we don't spend any band money? We only use it on band stuff. And it's such a I mean, like obviously that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But like no, if it's like, hey, we played like a music festival, cool. Let's like go out to eat. Like no, like we're trying to get some new t-shirts and we're like 150 bucks away. Like this like 200 for the festival will cover this and we're good to go. So honestly, anytime we get some money from shows, t-shirts, whatever, that all goes back right into the band stuff. Um And then, of course, if there ever is, like, a time where we don't have quite enough money, we're all financially stable, have like normal jobs. We're like, we can each give $50. And that's 150 between all of us, and
Yeah,
like that's like enough to cover anything. Um, and I will say, recording with Shane, it's nice recording with one person in like his home studio. Like, it's not as expensive as going to like not that Shane doesn't have like a professional studio, but going to like a stranger, just a professional studio, and they're like, hey, this is the average rate, and you're just like, whoa, geez, man, like maybe by next year we can get this done if we save up. Like, but like,
yeah,
and like it is just like finding the right people to work with. And normally, if they're really into what you do, they'll give you a little bit of wiggle room. Not saying like you want to take advantage of them financially or anything like that. But like I said, working with Shane, we definitely have a nice system to where we know like, okay, this is what the cost is per song, and we
right.
pretty much have a game plan.
Well, I think that's worth its weight in gold by itself too, working with Shane because he is a friend, so it kind of helps whenever we're recording, it helps bring the wall down. Because sometimes whenever you do go to these studios, which we've done before, it can feel really like tight and you feel like,
Hmm.
it's very rigid and you can't really let loose and you're just like, oh, I gotta like get all this stuff down like perfectly.
This is costing us
And
so much money
yeah,
every time I mess up. This
no,
is like an extra half an hour, an extra
right.
60 minutes on the bill. Like,
Yeah, and Tony
sure.
touched on it where Shane's not like, all right, well, take 25, you got to get this done. Like, I don't know, it really helps with the creative process and getting those things done. So I think like finding the right person to work with itself is worth its weight, like I said, by itself. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. We figure out a way to get it done nonetheless.
Yeah,
But
and then
yeah.
even for like our previous recordings, if you want to touch on that with like Mike and Drew.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, working with those guys too. I mean, and yeah, we did some work with the old Neon guys
Hmm.
and yeah, it was working with them uh you get to have that aspect of having that creative process with other people in the scene as well too.
Then O'Neill got real popular, and they were like, "You're like, hey, can we come over to your house and record?" And they're like, "We're going on a big weekender." And we're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but it's us, and we're like, we're homies." They're like, "No," we're like, okay,
Yeah.
no, we understand, we
Yeah.
understand." But yeah, whenever we would record with Old Neon, Mike the guitarist, he would record like the guitar and bass. The lead singer Drew would do vocals. Like it was a little more spread out, so it was a little more complicated to get everything scheduled. Whereas in like, okay, so we got to go to this person's house for this, then this person's house for this. So it
Oh,
was it
and
was
drums. Shout out to Evan also, who recorded the drums for
sure.
us. He's great, and he's one of those guys. Like he's a drummer also, and he will get the best out of you. Whether you like it or not. He'll like you'll do a take, and he'll go, "All right, that's pretty good, but I think you could do it better." And it's just one of those things. Like you know what, Evan, I can do this
Thank you
better.
for the confidence.
Yeah.
You have confidence in me when I
Yeah.
don't have it in myself, Evan. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but like just like being friends with like really talented people has helped us out a ton.
Yeah.
Helped us out a ton. And like we said, like whenever Shane offered to record our stuff, and we are like, wow, you can do drums, guitar, bass, mixing, mastering, vocal. You can do everything. And he was like, oh yeah, man, sure. We were like, all right, well, this is not a bad deal here. And so yes, so that's pretty much how we got hooked up with Shane. Like we said, we were recording with the old Neon guys. They reached superstardom. Got a little bit more difficult to schedule
Yeah.
stuff, or that we'd be like, hey, do you guys want to come over to our house again and work on stuff? And they're like, we can't because we're opening up for like, for this big band at Mr. Smalls or whatever. And
Yeah.
we're like, okay, we understand that. But yeah, definitely ever since we started recording, I think we've only recorded one time maybe without somebody we were like pretty close friends with.
Yeah.
We definitely learned early on like all of our friends are very talented.
Yeah.
And we'd rather record with them than go to like a stranger in a studio.
Yeah.
And because they were the
Um,
first when I started this podcast, and like, you get your nose, and I get it. It was a new show. It's very hard out there. They were the first band when I was getting all these no's to say yes.
cool. Very
And I
nice.
always
That's what's
remember
up.
that. Like I always tell them, like I know when they were like parting ways and everything. And it was just like, yeah, you guys are so kind and just you can tell that from like across a screen, like how they are and how they work. And I love to see them get like as big as they were getting and doing
Yeah.
all the cool stuff and like playing four chord and like doing all this stuff, it was just like so cool because I was like, yeah, I never forgot the like you guys said yes when everyone said
Yeah.
no. I will
Oh no.
always remember that.
Oh, 100%. All them are super cool guys. We still stay in touch with them. The
Yeah.
lead singer Drew actually was just stopped over at the house a few days ago. Like spent Saturday afternoon here, just kind of hanging out. So like even if they are split up, it's nice to still see the whole gang.
Yeah, and I mean to you to like kind of wrap it up a little bit and go back to the EP a little bit. Is there
Oh
a
yeah, I forgot about
song?
that. But
Is
yeah, that's it. So sorry though. That kind of went on a tangent.
Oh my God, you're good. I love a tangent. I'm a tangent person too. Um, so for the like was there a song on this that once completed and it's you've heard the final product that you're like, man, we really got there. Like we really got exactly where we wanted to go for this specific song, and we're so proud of that. I'm sure you're proud of all of them, but is there
Sure.
one that like you had to work really a little extra hard to get it to where it needed to be?
Yeah,
Do you have one, or 'cause I got one?
good.
So I would say for the one that has the most history behind it would be Couchsurfer Part Two.
That's what I was gonna say.
Mhm.
Because on our second EP that we did, Guided Toward Bowerline, that was actually we self-produced that one. That was one that we did in our living room, with just some crappy mics that we got, and we recorded. And Josh did everything. Thank you, buddy. Did everything on all the mixing and everything like that, and he came up with that riff. Um, and was playing it. And when we first heard it, we are like, "Oh man, that sounds cool.
That's pretty sweet.
That's actually like that sounds like real music." And
Yeah.
so we should include this. And he's like, "Well, we don't have the rest of the song yet." It's like, "Fine, just throw it on there." And he called it Couch Surfer because it was at that point when he was kind of, in that middle point of where his life was taking him, and he was living
He
on our
was
couch.
he was staying on our
Mhm.
Yeah.
couch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how that got included. And then for years after that, I don't know. I love that bass riff so much, and I kept saying to him, like, when are we gonna make this a full song? When are we gonna do this? Because I had a drum part in my head for years that I just needed to do something with. And finally, once we got around to this EP, you're like, okay, this is it. We're gonna do it. Let's put this one together. And I mean, I don't know. It came together pretty, I don't want to say easily, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think we all knew exactly where we wanted it to go.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, it was kind of one of those like, all right, like we could close the book on it. Like
Yeah.
we got it. And even the voice track that's in
Yeah.
the breakdown from
Mm.
Bullet, like you guys have been
Stuck on that.
stuck on that
Yeah, stuck on the
forever.
real. We're
Mhm.
like we want to have like a movie from the 1960s where there's like someone like speaking, but we want to have it like during like a slow like instrumental bridge, just kind of like set back a little bit. And so even that because like we wrote the first verse in like 2019, I want to
Oh
say. 'Cause
yeah,
I
you're going
remember
a
I
long way
remember
back.
being back at the old house and we were working on lyrics. And like we had that done like Noah said, it was one of those things where like started to work on some other songs or like something else came up, so that kind of got put on the back burner. So whenever we were working on My Cry at the Party, we were like, dang, like we want this to be more than just like two or three songs. We want it to be at least like five or six songs. So we are like, nice, this is like a perfect time to get that one back out, finish up, the couple parts we have to write still. But like Noah said, we've had it on the back burner for a long time. So we kind of knew like what the different parts were. We just kind of had to structure everything. And then yeah, like it came together and we were definitely super happy about it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like the ones I know from other bands around here, the songs that take the little bit of extra, whatever it is, once it gets to that place, that ends up being like a lot of people's favorites. And they're like, man,
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
so glad I took that extra, or we did
Hmm.
this, or we did that. And I think it just speaks to like being in a band too, and just like what you want that to come out and sound like that person putting on the headphones like that's what you want,
Yeah.
and how are you going to get there, and it sounds like you have the right people around you too and just everything, and so with this being 2026 and it being June, I can't believe we're in
Yeah,
June right now.
right.
Where did this
We're
go?
here.
Crazy.
um what is there anything you can talk about that's on the way, whether it's shows or anything that you would like to kind of like accomplish this rest of the year?
Yeah, so we're trying to go on a weekender. We're in the process of getting a weekender for the fall slash end of the year, all scheduled out. One of our friends that lives a couple blocks up in the neighborhood, like Jose. Jose is a cool dude. He's very good at graphic design, just drawing, painting, everything involving that. So we uh we normally when it comes to graphics and t-shirts and stickers, we just make it up and
Hmm.
kind of do the whole design and graphic ourselves. Whereas Jose, we were talking to him, we were like, hey, this is like what you do. Would you be interested in maybe helping us out? And he's like, oh my gosh, of course. So we're like, nice. We haven't had a new like t-shirt graphic in a while. So we're definitely hoping, by the end of summertime, gonna have some new t-shirts, some new graphics out there. We're honestly looking at like the month of June, to be a very good like scheduling month.
Yeah.
Just to be like, okay, so if we can't really be all together here right now, we can at least like plan straight through the end of 2026 and the beginning of 2027.
Yeah. We are starting to demo a new EP also. We're
Yeah.
working on that as
Yep.
well. So
Yep.
we're in the early stages of it. We've got some stuff together, but
So maybe like next spring, maybe
yeah, we want to
come out
try.
with a new EP possibly.
Yeah.
So you
But yeah,
have to,
I guess,
yeah, I feel like with any pop punk or any kind of band like yours that is that specific genre inside the pop punk, it's got to be a spring or summer because it's
yeah,
just as I'm a
yeah,
seasonal
right.
music
Definitely,
listener, I'm like,
definitely.
you need to have those records come
Hmm.
out in spring and summer. You just do
Exactly.
because you got to listen to it in the summer and spring with the
Yeah.
windows down. Like that's how, like with this EP, you have to. But I think it's really, really great. I love what you guys are doing. I know for
Awesome.
me, the
Thank
song Salem has been on repeat. It's one of my favorites.
you. Sweet. Thank you. It's
I think
appreciated.
it's really, really cool. And I encourage anyone listening or watching, I always have like all the links below to
Cool.
follow you guys and go support, especially if they're in your area, especially like that show in July that'll be announced like later on.
Mhm.
Go support, go see. Like I'm really excited to see what's next because again, as someone that sometimes is that pop punk hater at times, I love it. So I'm putting my seal of like approval that's really, really good. Go check it out.
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
yeah, but I really I appreciate you guys coming on and this was really cool to get to know you, another Pittsburgh band. And again, it just shows me like that Pittsburgh has really great music and just like really kind, cool people.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. It's definitely appreciated. Definitely thank you for having us
Yeah. Thank
on.
you for
It's
having me.
definitely a fun time. Always a fun time, just because people can listen to like songs and stuff like that, but like I don't know, maybe someone just like what they're like as people, and like this is
Yeah.
like a fun opportunity to kind of get a little sneak peek at what we're like and find Ethel.
Yeah. And everyone go to a show. Go to
Yeah, go
shows.
to a show.
You know,
If you
enjoy
see
shows.
a local show,
Whoever it is.
even if you don't know the bands, go stop out
Yeah.
and have a good time. Start to dance around. I guarantee you, if you dance, the band will be like, "Wow, we're gonna come
Hmm.
say thank you to that person." Like they just show that they were interested in what we're doing, and that's just a great feeling to be playing up on stage because we put a lot of time and effort into our songs. So to see someone actually be like, "Oh, I like what they do," be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
they get it,
Yeah.
they get it." Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So.